The Walking Dead craze in the early 2010s was insane, up until they milked the series like a Blizzard employee.
What the hell is even that?
The Walking Dead TV show was fantastic, with multiple spin-offs that didn't make any sense. It literally repeated the same fucking story with a different group of actors, as they showed less creativity than COD developers every year. And we, of course, had Telltale's The Walking Dead Season 1 game. So join me as we sniff some crack off a walker's ass and play Telltale's The Walking Dead Season 1 on crack. We start off making our way out of the city as we're introduced to Lee, who's in the back of a cop car driven by a guy who asked for the Mao Zedong special at the barbershop. We get introduced to the quote-unquote gameplay, consisting of clicking objects and hitting the numbers 1 through 4. There's a whole fucking SWAT team headed back into the city, followed by my favorite gender, and we know something is up. Alright, you can tell me the story while you keep your eyes on the road. Who the fuck issued your driver's license? SpongeBob? Man should have been a professional dancer instead. We wake up with a broken leg and money signs in the back, knowing we can claim police brutality for a fat check. My ass would have been counting my bands already while showing up to the courtroom like this, with just a bruise. Looks like the officer Harlem shook a little too hard and is passed out. Hello, sir? Pick your ass here if you're still with us. So we go to check on him, but Comrade Mouse laid out cold. We pick up the key to unlock our hand. You know what? These feel really comfortable. I'll keep them on, actually. I'm into the kinky stuff. One delayed jump scare later, and a demonstration of Lee's butterfingers, and yeah, I don't know about that check. I think we better call Saul. More of these walking corpses come after us, and you know what? I don't care what anyone says. How the fuck do you die to these morphine-induced walking corpses? Ricky Berwick could probably make a quick getaway compared to these losers. Now, the zombies from 28 Days Later, I can understand, but these guys aren't exactly coming for you at Mach 10 speed. You literally just walk away. It isn't even natural selection at this point. You can even have some kids Fortnite dance on them while you're on a light stroll. Fun for the whole family. Lee and his crippled leg make it over the fence as we engage in a little home invasion. You see this pool of blood, Lee? You did, right? Alright, just making sure. This message system gives us 3 increasingly disturbed messages, as apparently the little girl's parents left her with the babysitter and got fed to the walkers. We use a walkie-talkie and get talking with Clementine, the little girl who's
Would you have a seat over in that chair, please?
siding up in her treehouse. I wonder where the babysitter— oh dear God, Hammurabi barbecue school shootings. It's fine though, we get away. Lee, what did I tell you about the blood? As I contemplate about the best way to get the next Me Too hashtag trending with this corpse about to whip out my dick and fuck me in the Superman position, Clementine gives me the hammer as I leave the babysitter looking like Sid the Sloth from Ice Age. The little girl wants her parents back, but we convince her to follow us as we complete the summoning quartet of murder, assault on a cop, breaking and entering, and now child kidnapping. We get to 2 dudes who agree to drive us to their farmhouse as Chet is apparently about to use the ancient Asian secret technique of farting with enough horsepower to move the car. Unfortunately, he couldn't do much more than Clementine, but we can chalk that up to bad form, I'm sure. We get to Herschel's farm as Herschel does the anti-pedo inspection check.
Honey, do you know this man?
Yes.
Okay, then.
I'm sure that's gonna leave all the child predators sweating in their sleep. Move over, Chris Hansen, we got a new big dog on the block. And fixes our leg. Pay attention to right here. Herschel believes you. Keep note of that. He gives us a room in the barn to sleep in as Lee—
I love you, baby.
Bunny, there is no tooth fairy, and there is no Queen of England.
the new character Kenny wakes us up, who's rocking an almighty stash crafted by the ghost of Stalin's barber himself and his son, who quite honestly might literally be on crack. We also meet his wife Katya, who's a vet. No funny joke this time, she's just an important character, but blander than a white family spice cabinet. Excuse me, salt cabinet. We get to Duck driving the tractor, looking like an absolute dumbass with Sean bent over and absolutely vulnerable to a potential tractor mishap due to the negligence of an 8-year-old boy who could have used more time in the womb, but I'm sure it'll be fine.
That's called foreshadowing.
After cutting up some wood, we go to the barn as we answer all of Herschel's questions honestly, and he's like,
But you better become a better liar, and fast.
I'm so sick of these people. You know. Oh!
But before I can show this geezer to my melatonin collection, we hear a scream as Duck runs over Sean's leg as he's stuck, but not in a washing machine, so my expertise really cannot be administered at this time. But we have to pick one to save. Doesn't matter who you pick, Sean dies and Duck lives. I'd rather get started sucking Kenny off rather than someone I'll never meet again. Alright, Kenny, let's help Kenny?
Help!
Kenny? Kenny? The walkers start munching on Sean, showing us the proper technique on how to eat booty. Flawless, fluid, and efficient, undoubtedly. Herschel comes out and breaks their midnight snack with a couple shots to the cranium, showing he always keeps that thing on him, but it's too late for Sean. Herschel tells us to fuck off, but we get the ride to Macon with Kenny anyway. We run out of gas in the middle of the road, and as we're looking for more, Kenny's dumbass couldn't resist triggering the entire anime community. My Hero Academia is pedo bait.
Fuck!
But a secretary comes out of nowhere like John fucking Wick. You would have thought we had her dog or something. We're safe in the drugstore, but not everyone is happy as Lily, the leader of the group, gets pissed at Carly, and we meet Larry, a Harvey Weinstein doppelganger who's a bigger asshole than the Pornhub award-winning pumpkin anal play section, but he's got the funniest dialogue in the game.
You're gonna whoop me? You and what homo parade? This one.
Whoa, cool your jets there, Rambo. These are nice people. Let's not do anything to get us thrown out before we eat. Well, that's easy. I got charm coming out of my ass.
Yeah.
Larry thinks Duck's bitten, and you know what? I could actually see that, yeah. We're about to bear witness to the greatest dialogue in the entire series.
We have to end this now.
Over my dead body.
We'll dig one hole.
Everyone chill the fuck out! Nobody's doing anything.
Shut up, Lily. And you, shut the fuck up. They will find us, and they will get in here, and none of this will fucking matter.
Sit down. That's it.
You're gonna whoop me? You and what homo parade? This one. That's good. Little boy, before you eat your mommy, you can watch your dad get his nose broken.
After this virtuoso from Larry's voice actor, an absolute classic, Lee drops a cinder block on Larry's ass.
That's called foreshadowing.
No, you don't touch that boy. You don't touch anybody. I've got a little girl I'm trying to protect in here, too. You want to get violent, you old fuck? Well, come on! You better have a plan to kill me, though, because it's me before anyone else in here!
But apparently the writers had to put a stop to Super Hot Lee's heat-spitting, nay, flame-throwing to protect our CPUs from overheating, as Clementine gets snuck on and grabbed by a potty pedo looking for a cupcake. We save her even though we're crippled, but our lack of a left femur really hinders our kickboxing abilities. We got Harley Curry hitting him with the good night, don't let the bed bugs bite shot. After the military saves our asses, Larry drops like an 1865 plantation owner after hearing the Gettysburg Address. That, and he needs nitroglycerin cause his heart can't pump the blood his back requires to carry the entire game. Glenn's going out to get gas, and Doug, who looks like God made his face using silly putty, is standing watch. He's not really important, honestly. We give Clementine the chocolate bar we found as we try to get to know her.
Are you okay?
What? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm good.
That's good.
Yeah, I think so. Being good is good, despite the circumstances.
Yep.
We'll sit tight.
Apparently, Doug saved Carly as he saw the opportunity of a lifetime to avoid his own 40-year-old virgin story, but she gives him the most backhanded compliment I've ever seen. We agree to help fix Carly's radio at there are no batteries. Well, I guess it's nice to know TV reporting doesn't have a prerequisite chromosome requirement. We scout out the premises with Doug as we find our brother trapped under a street lamp.
Oh my god, stop bro, I'm stuck!
Lee doesn't want to tell anyone this is his drugstore, else they'd connect the dots and call him out as a convict. So we need to find proof that the guy worked here before Doug will open the gate and we can get the key to get Larry's nitroglycerin. Kenny rides my dick like a Twitter super follower, and I give a chocolate bar to Lily, who calls me sweet, so we're definitely giving her the Lee log later tonight as we show Harvey who the real apex predator is. Me and Clem launch a reconnaissance mission in the office where we find the proof we need in a nice family picture as Carly catches me red-handed. She says she knows I'm a criminal who murdered a guy who was stuffing my wife like a Thanksgiving turkey, and how she won't tell anyone, so I really don't see the need for her to come out with it, I guess. Anyways, are they gonna kiss or what? Ooh, at this rate, Lee's gonna build his own harem. He's making all the right moves. Clem thanks us for saving her from the potty perv as we bond over Daddy Lee family lore while pulling a desk out of the way. And come on, Clementine, put your back into... Okay, maybe not. It's starting to look like a Cuphead villain. Clem's parents were a doctor and an engineer. What? Why the fuck were you living in that tiny-ass hut that's supposed to be a fucking house substitute? Is all the money going to hookers? No wonder they left your ass behind with a babysitter. They must have been making movies. After a little emergency where Clem's blood supply high as half from a damn paper cut. We go back at, yeah, Lee, I don't think that remote's gonna work, you done son of a bit. Doug, what kind of foul witchery is this? This is even more impressive than doxing Joe Biden. Glenn's stuck at the motor inn, and me and Carly are on the case like Ezra Miller with underage fans. We save Glenn's ass, but he says there's a woman trapped in a room. And despite Carly not wanting to help, my harem is still far too small to be content with.
Damn right.
So we agree to save her. After stabbing some walkers with a screwdriver, we exert a little too great a force in the last one as we give him the little Uzi diamond accessory. We get an axe to replace it though, so no harm done, unless you're a walker of course, because Lee's firefighter cosplay is deadly. Oh no! Understood, I'm breaking in. After Lee drops his 5th crime in the last 24 hours, really putting up DaBaby crime numbers at this point, she agrees to join our harem, but apparently a walker took my Womb Raider joke from the last video, which you should definitely check out by the way, a little too seriously. And yeah, don't worry miss, your services will not be required. Have a fun 2 hours to live. Unfortunately, she saw the Glock and figured out her 13th reason, and of course we can't waste a bullet like that, piss off and die in peace. She ends up coming towards us, which leaves us in a bit of a predicament considering we can't exactly threaten her with the gun. It's like choking a masochist, it wouldn't exactly be very effective. So after she almost kills us and puts a bullet through her own cranium, we get back home with enough gas for anyone and enough depression for a lifetime. We throw a brick through the glass, say goodbye to our brother, and get the drugstore key. We go to get the drug... Oh no. Lee, you own this place! Why the fuck didn't you think to disable the alarm?
Old reliable.
We make our quick getaway with me, Carly, and Doug left to defend Fort Knox, so not exactly our A squad unfortunately. Muck from Pokemon Red gives us a heartfelt speech about being a great guy.
Shut up, Doug!
Clementine goes to get our dad's cane to block off the walkers, and Carly and Doug go to defend the 2 breaches. Unfortunately, their performance left a lot to be desired, really equivalent to the French military in 1945, as Carly's got one walker trying to look up her skirt, and Doug... How the fuck did they grab you, Doug? How'd you get in that position? You thought showing him the crusty remains of a shit you took this morning would have been enough to perplex them? Nah, it's just natural selection at this point. Easiest choice in the game, sorry Doug. As we get to escaping, Larry straight up has us seeing stars. But Kenny is officially my boy as he saves our ass. This is the end of episode 1 as we set up shop in the motor inn. Glenn leaves us as he has a milked up farm girl to fertilize, and Carly's starting to get survivor syndrome from Doug. Wait, what are you staring at, you Harvey Weinstein looking ass motherfucker? Ain't you got a date with a noose coming up? Doug is mouthing off to Clementine, spitting absolutely no game whatsoever, to the point where we had to put him out of his misery.
You like my daughter?
Yeah, in fact, I'm about to fusion dance my semen with her ovaries to make mixed babies. What of it?
Well, just fuck you, Lee Everett.
Yeah, he knows who I am. At the end, me and Lily and Kenny stare out into the night with Lily going,
Right. You know, guys, I think it's going to be okay.
Whoa, 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 hey, 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 hey!
Lily! I see you have your dad's genetic makeup in the brain cell department. Anyway, that's the end of episode 1, a real masterpiece you can jack off to into the background as the second episode. Starve for Help is probably my favorite in not only the game, but in the entire series. Season 2 has us with a new character, Mark, who looks like he'd be right at home yelling in horror for YouTube. We hear a cry for assistance in the distance, and we decide to investigate, as it could be a new addition to our stagnant harem. Unfortunately, it's just a bunch of high school boys, and I'm not quite that degenerate yet, with the teacher stuck in a bear trap. This is about the 90th time they pulled an I'm trapped in this game, which you really can't blame them considering a quadruple amputee could keep their distance with the sheer horsepower of Taco Bell-induced shards. This kid's dad is Special Forces. Good on you, I guess, still doesn't compare to the average TCLR subscriber. That's right, it's that time of the video. After getting bullied constantly, these little bugs immediately subscribe to the Civ Lifer and we get to see exclusive footage. They grow 250 pounds of pure muscle, immediately grow 30 feet taller, one roar and the Twin Towers have collapsed again, and they unlock their true Civ Lifer subscriber selves. Bear witness to the power, one fastball on the continental plates shift, and Australia's attached to India again. Leave a like and subscribe to immediately reach the pinnacle of human evolution, make 6 figures from your jawline alone, and 2, more importantly, not miss out on future content. Walkers show up from the screams of agony as Kenny tells us we have to cut off the leg, and dear God, the texture on those bones is all too realistic. You can can really make out where the tibia is separated from the fibula by the interosseous membrane. Impeccable graphics and excellent butchering from Lee, really won with the axe at this point, just an extension of his own arms. The Special Forces kid might need special ed considering he forgot how to walk away at a brisk pace and gets eaten by the walkers. What kind of incompetent Special Forces did your dad work for? Spetsnaz? This episode is called Starve for Help, but to my surprise, not too many of us are looking like Japanese internment camp refugees, so we can't be doing that badly. We continue Seaman Levine's origin story. As the power struggle between Lily and Kenny continues, Penguin Z Larry continues his inspiring commentary.
Any of you stepping up to make the hard decisions, my girl's got more balls than all of you combined.
He has such a way with words.
Lily gives me the rations to give out this time as everyone's looking at me like I got games on my phone. There's about 5 rations for 10 or so people, so tough choices have to be made. Clementine tells us she lost her hat, which I don't even know how that could happen. It's like someone losing a chastity cage. It'd be pretty hard to unconsciously take it off. Unfortunately, that Habsburgian level of inbreeding decision maker is the closest thing we have to a daughter, so to ensure our bloodline continues, we do have to feed her. We offer food to Duck, who looks like we just gave him a fortnight skin. Kenny tells us he wants us to leave, while Lily says she wants to stay. That's a setup for episode 3. Apparently my mathematics was off, there was only 4 pieces left, and with only 1 left we can either keep it or give it to somebody else. I decide the best way to stick it to Harvey Weinstein is to give the last piece to Mark right in front of his face. But I decided to give it to Mark because A, I don't think giving a weapon to a human trafficker is a good idea, and B, he did try to kill me last episode, so I'm not exactly thrilled with giving him a lethal weapon. And Mark calls him a racist, which, that's a great deflection strategy. You're a racist, Larry. Fuck off. I give the last piece to Mark, and Kenny seems cool about it, since I fed his son and all, but Larry is livid, as he goes so far as to threaten to rescind my private island vacation later this month. The music teacher died. Unfortunate, really. We could have used his in-demand clarinet playing skills to stave off the Walker horror. Oh no, he's back! Lee fights him off though, as Mark missed so bad he even caused Shaq to grimace. Our goose looks cooked as the music teacher prepares to insert his fist into my anal cavity. Carly saves my rectum's width from pumpkin fitting size with a bullet to the head. We all get mad at Ben for not telling us he's bitten when he drops the news. Everybody turns, whether they get bitten, die on the shitter like Elvis, or while trying to jack off 50 times in a day like this mad lad. After that bombshell, a couple of rednecks come through looking for gas, and we propose a trade. Carly tells me I need to take charge and stop being a little bitch before the brothers start asking about my life story, before we get introduced to bandits, as one generously gives the other an express delivery to heaven with same-day shipping. We get to Old McDonald's apocalyptic retreat as every southerner, not quite old but not young mother stereotype, comes to greet us with bread. Carly and Ben head back as me and Mark are left to inspect the premises for any foul play. We help clear walkers off the fence as they sure do love their electrocution fetish, it seems, but one of the fences is toppled over, so in the most predictable plot twist yet, it turns on after we pick it up from the other side as fucking Hawkeye snipes Markiplier for breaking the post-apocalyptic cringe rules. Unfortunately, we couldn't figure out if the assailant was Hawkeye or Laura Croft, and after last video, which you should definitely check, we do not want to fight Laura, so we retreat to fight another day. This inbred asks me what's wrong, as Mark has an arrow sticking out of his shoulder, and right on time, as the rest of the gang shows up. What a great first impression. Lily's mad we came here, as Kenny, in the long-standing US tradition of saying the opposite of what the other side wants, says, nah, we gotta stay here even if we have to fight them for it. Before we continue, I suggest grabbing an extra pair or 3 of underpanties, as Larry's voice actor's about to go goblin mode.
Have to. Whoa, cool your jets there, Rambo. These are nice people. Let's not do anything to get us thrown out before we eat.
I'm gonna head out and help Dan deal with these bandits. You guys should try to make friends with Andy and Brenda while I'm gone.
Well, that's easy. I got charm coming out of my ass.
Yeah, that's real charming, Dad.
Me and the second brother, who looks like that gremlin from The Lord of the Rings, set out on a Black Ops mission to recon the bandit camp that attacked us, as I forgot to push Clem on the swings! Not even the death penalty can excuse my actions, just sentence me to a life of furry conventions, the only way I can reasonably repent for my sins against humanity. I reload and push Clem as we see the bond growing closer. We sneak up on the ops' block, but it's empty. After some exploring, we find Clementine's hat, but get jumped by a Walmart employee. It seems the anti-work force has launched their first attack. We can't Can't reason with her, but she brings up an interesting conversation. Tell him what you've got in mind for, end quote, as the Grinch who hates Christmas apparently hates anti-work Redditors even more. He talks about good shooting after blowing a Redditor's brains out, which, okay, that's fair. After we get back, I thought that I should give everyone a fair chance, you know, maybe me and the Grinch can come to an understanding, but all he does is fondle his gun like Sauron's ring, so I'm quite certain his RNA forgot to synthesize a key protein in his development and leave the creep. Lily and Kenny are fighting off in the distance as Kenny's having his suspicions about the barn, but Lily and Larry told him to drop it. Everything adds up to be a little too suspicious for us to ignore, so I learn what a salt lick is, learn Clementine's actually licked one, and reluctantly give her hat back, even though her intelligence skill probably just makes her a wasteful resource dump at this point. Me and Kenny begin our own little Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated as we try to discover what was in that barn.
Hey, Lee, you know how to pick a lock, right?
No. Why would you say that?
Well, you're, urban?
Oh, you are not saying what I think you're saying.
Jesus, man, I'm from Florida.
The first brother I couldn't be bothered to remember his name comes over, and even he couldn't believe the racial profiling, but I use this to my advantage and sabotage the generator while he gives Kenny the almighty blue hair Twitter cancellation hammer, which forces him out of the barn, and with the multi-tool we found, we pick the lock, and uh-oh.
That's a lot of damage!
Even flex tape probably couldn't fix that. We get the creepy
Dinner time.
dialogue with a smile that tells me if I was any blacker, I'd be getting shot up by the cops already. But by Kenny's logic at least, I'm not urban enough, so I guess I'm safe. I try to ask what he was cooking in there, and he tries saying it's where they slaughter the animals, but they only have one cow. The hell are you slaughtering? We ask to wash our hands, and after raiding their medicine cabinet for heroin or even some Adderall at this point, we sneak upstairs, find a peculiar cord lying on the ground that powers a back room, and oh my god, Mark's been scissored. We run downstairs to warn Clementine to not eat, and get there in time, but Duck's still chowing down. He does not care. The crackers earlier were not enough for a future Fortnite pro like him. They turn their guns on us, as Lee probably should have thought of a better plan, honestly. I mean, even if Clementine had to eat the meat, at the very least you could have, snuck up on him, killed a couple of them, bop, bop, and then, hey, you guys did eat some human meat, but at least we have a farm now. Mark crawls through faster than any walker I've seen so far, as I get my head introduced to the butt of a rifle. We awaken in a meat locker with Larry kicking his ass charm into overdrive as I try to find a way to escape. Larry gets a little heated at me for all the shit I've given him, like not giving out his rations, treating him like an ass as he conveniently forgets that he almost murdered me a couple months back, although he is kind enough to give us a picture-perfect definition of irony, so this conversation was not a waste.
But guess what? You're stuck with me. I plan to be around long after you're gone.
After banging on the door like that monkey trying to avoid a school shooting, Larry drops dead with a heart attack. Lily begins administering CPR in the absolute worst possible place. If she was any further off, she'd be hitting fucking Narnia. And Kenny makes the point that if we don't crush the brain, we're about to be trapped in here with an NFL linebacker on a diet of steroids and protein shakes. So I restrain Lily as we bear witness to exclusive footage of how Harvey Weinstein, quote-unquote, killed himself in that prison cell. Don't come after me, FBI, that's a joke.
But guess what? You're stuck with me. I plan to be around long after you're gone.
That's called foreshadowing.
We loot Larry's corpse, desecrate it really is the more appropriate nomenclature for coins to unscrew the AC. We send Clementine over to unlock the freezer, and a couple million years later, after the next ice age has subsided, Clementine opens the door and we're out. We pick up a sickle to show my undying love for communism in case Winnie the Pooh takes over the world, and as we're sneaking up on Gollum, we have to enact evasive maneuvers as his brother shows up. Oh, hello there. As he blasts my eardrums, Kenny takes up the mantle of revolutionary as we trap the brother and decide not to kill him since he's not getting out of that trap anytime soon. So we might as well make a meal out of him for our Walker overlords. Carly and Ben show up like Batman and Robin to petty crimes and do jack all as we walk up to the house where the mom is holding Katja hostage. But Mark is waiting up there for some vengeance and oh, he's got Duck. Now don't do anything stupid, Kenny. Carly's absolutely 007's the guy's ear off and we end up getting into a little kerfuffle on our own with no one to help, even though it's literally 9 against 1 right now. Lily doesn't take the shot shot, so she's officially been withdrawn from the applicants to our harem, as Lee somehow finds the strength to get out of this position and beats the fuck out of the brother, leaving him looking like the sexy clown from Ace Attorney without the honkers. Well, one honker, and we leave the guy to get mauled by walkers. We find a car absolutely loaded with resources to survive, as Clem's stupid ass says stealing is wrong, and I say, okay sweetie, while putting on my ski mask as we loot this car for everything. We get some batteries for the camera we found back at the anti-workers camp, and we see this bitch playing I Spy trying to catch a glimpse of Lee's mythical log, but fortunately the technique was a little outdated, definitely not my preferred peeper approach, and yeah, that's episode 2. I feel like Lee really dropped the ball here. There was so much food, a cow, corn, that playing it out and surprise attacking the descendants of Old MacDonald, and then taking the barn for ourselves was the play, even if people had to eat some human flesh. You had a generator, food, safety in the countryside, it would have been the best move in my opinion. And speaking of food, what the fuck in the world were the inbreds doing eating human flesh? I mean, they had bread, they had corn, and a cow. It's not as if they were lacking for food, especially after Katja came to like fix up their cow or whatever. I understand their preference for meat, you know, I'm more of a meat connoisseur than Riley Reid even, but they didn't have to, and I feel like they were doing this shit before the apocalypse, considering they were so used to it already. And about Larry, I'm here to put the debate to rest. The man was going into cardiac arrest. Without the proper equipment and Lily's hand placement, the chances of him surviving were lower than Celsius in the middle of winter. Killing him was definitely the right option. And yeah, I was gonna do the entire season in this video, except I'm looking at the runtime as I'm recording, and that's about 25 to 28 minutes, dear God. Again, like and subscribe. I do have the rest of the game played out already. I even played season 2 as well, so it should be a quick turnaround. I'll probably get the second video out in a couple of days, and yeah, let me know down below what you thought of this episode, what your favorite episode is, and whether you would have tried to save Larry or not. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.